Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Yes, again with Unukalai. So, yeah, of course, there's the extreme difficulty Sophia. The last pillar to fall. Greetings, warrior of light. But one pillar of a warring Triad remains, Zurvan, the icon known as the demon. According to the histories I have uncovered, the monstrous being was worshipped by race of Merasidian beastmen. These creatures are the key to maintaining Zurvan's manifestation, and we can be sure that many such trials will be imprisoned somewhere within the research facility. It is imperative that we determine the exact location as swiftly as possible. We dare not risk repeating the near disaster we suffered at the hands of Sophia's servants. As such, your fellow Science have already begun an exhaustive search, but there are several sectors which only you, Cryer, and I can enter without fear of enfrownment. Let us make our way to Azizla forthwith and aid in the investigation. Destination. He's not here. Serenia, it's good we caught you. The facility has been swamped by Imperial troops. By their standards did we judge from soldiers of a six. Aye, once more does Regula van Hydrus stretch forth his hand to seize the forbidden fruit of luck, and once more have our meticulous walls been swept aside like so many cobwebs. Your meddlesome wards were destroyed from within by the pulsating energies of an icon. Nay, put up your weapons and listen. The followers of Zurvan have awakened. They told to rouse their master. The demon's worshippers yet slumbered when we confronted Sophia. Could the tempering of her thralls have been more widespread when we fought? We share a common enemy. It is not unthinkable that we would seek to free all those the elegance had imprisoned. Yes, the cage's doors are open. And whilst you stand here quibbling over who picked the locks, my soldiers are inside the facility, risking their lives and their sanity. They have volunteered to face death to prevent Zurvan's servant from waking him in the fullness of his power. Now, assuming you have at last understood the gravity of the situation, it is time that I rejoined them. But you cannot hope to succeed. The icon will enslave the mind of any who draws near. Thus did I seek out those with the power to resist his influence. Aid us, and mayhap my men will not perish in vain. You propose an alliance. I have delved into the depth of this place and found its technology wanting. These mechanisms have failed to hold their prisoners, and such broken artifacts are unfit to bring before the Emperor. Twice have you bested me in combat. Will you now lend me that strength and stand against our mutual foe? 'Twas in opposing your reckless schemes that Isail was lost to us. You expect us to simply forgive and forget all that has come before? I expect you to put aside your emotions and use your better judgment. But of course I'm dealing with savages. I will not stand here and justify the death of the Ice Maiden. We pursued our ideals and you pursued yours. Such was the result. And mayhap you might consider another point. In these endless clashes we all have lost comrades dear to us. Yet I choose to put aside my past grievances to beg your champion's aid, to appeal to your reason. Thou art willing to build a bridge of common purpose upon such tremulous foundations? I too am hesitant to accept this arrangement, Archon Ishtola, but the offer has been made to the Warrior of Light, and 'tis her involvement which shall ultimately sway its outcome. I shall abide by Serenia's decision. Seven must be stopped. And for better or worse, we shall fight at your side. Mistress Cry and I are also resistant to primal influence. We shall aid you where we can. Then let us be on our way. Our companions have already passed through to the research facility. We should not lag behind. The demon stirs. Such like a suckling babe, he feeds upon the ether siphoned unto him by his thralls. We must needs deprive him of his sustenance. When we destroy those devices. Hold, witness your soldiers. We have turned one against the other. Even half awake, Zurvan corrupts and converts those who enter his aura. The three of us, when Serenia, Unukalai, we rushed in together and each disabled a generator. We cannot give him the chance to rally a defense. There are 4 mechanisms by my count. If I can avoid the icon's miasma, my blade will make short work of the last one. We, all of us, have pledged our lives to... Keep your lives, I would rather you tend to my fallen. Some may yet survive with their minds intact. I know not if my strength will be enough. I'm no champion. The battlefield is no place for uncertainty, boy. Fate has blessed you with a unique talent and an occasion to use it. Do not waste such a gift. We strike. God, Zurvan is... Unukalai! He slumbers once more. You saved me. Why? I told you, boy. Yours is a gift too precious to waste. A gift the Emperor may one day have need of in his war upon these untamable icons. Emperor Varus. He raised me up from the ranks, stood against my detractors. I gladly give my life in his service. You must finish this. Slay these leeches upon our star. Kill them all. Kill Zurvan. We must needs withdraw and prepare our assault. At the cost of its very life, the legatus has prized open for us a window of opportunity. The research facility crawls with servants faithful and will not cease in their effort to rouse him. If you would honor the legatus sacrifice, then you must slaughter those fiends to the last. Forgive me if I show little gratitude for my rescue. It is said that the emperors and Van Hydrus were childhood friends. Foul fortune that we should be the ones to bring news of his death. I had thought Regula a cold and ruthless man, but he showed surprising compassion for his soldiers, and it also seems he placed great trust in his emperor. If Regula could be convinced that the technology for containing primals is fatally flawed, then mayhap Varus can be convinced as well. It is not often that I dare approach so closely to entities such as Zurvan. How sharply am I reminded of the burden we place upon those whom are blessed with the echo. These wounded soldiers will live, but further battle is beyond them. I had counseled them to remain here until their compatriots arrive to bear them home. He's dead. Had I only been stronger. Enough of that. There'll be time for regrets after we've rid the world of Zurvan. Triad is right of it. The demon has fallen back into torpor for now, but we must act swiftly if Regula's death is to have meaning. The survivors speak of an army of thralls loose in the facility. We must assume that these followers continue their efforts to awaken the icon. Let us then concentrate upon diverting them from their task. Mrs. Quail and Master Unukalai privy secure the controls to Zurvan's shackles and limit the restoration of his might. Akonistol and I shall forge ahead and strike down those thralls as would seek to harry you. Warrior of Light, thine is as ever the most perilous task. Gather to thee thy trusted companions and extinguish from this realm the fires of a demon himself. Contained by Z1T9. The legato spoke truly. The thick of battle is no place to question oneself, and I will accept any forthcoming duty with certitude or not at all.
There's been enough sacrifice for one day. We must take the chance we've been given and defeat Zurvan now.
Initiating final engagement sequence. All non-combat personnel are advised to evacuate.
Mine age of slumbering is at an end. 1,000 suns may set. But the insult of mine imprisonment has been etched upon mine eternal memory. I am come to mete out justice, to restore the blessings of victory unending. I am Zurvan, he who standeth above all gods, he who shall bring slaughter and ruin.
Disengagement sequence complete. Subject Zurvan is released from containment.
Good and evil, the war eternal. My doubt is fled. Beyond your petty morality.
Uh-huh. I don't think so, Zurvan.
I shall rise above all. Bear witness to my will.
chosen in time mine armor flame. Unto eternity's end, my righteous reign.
Bow to mine infallible judgment.
Okay. That look cool.
Suffer in endless torment.
Fire. What does it mean? Okay. Maybe it was the wrong one. Or maybe not. As I said, no idea.
Suffer in endless torment.
No. Yeah, you have to take the one you're marked with them. Or one of the people has.
And my equivocation cost me this contest. Suffer in endless torment. If such is my
Puff. Okay. For not knowing what I was doing, that went relatively well. Incredible as always, Serenia. Hopefully it will be the last our world sees of the likes of Zurvan. Every one of his foes has been slain as far as we can determine. Our victory over the warring Triad is complete. An impossible feat had we not been blessed with your cooperation. Let us not forget the efforts of Regula van Hydrus and his men. Without their noble sacrifice, the demon would have awoken far sooner and possessed of far more formidable energies. The bodies of the fallen now accompany the survivors on the return journey to Golmold. 'Tis known that the Imperials recognize no god, yet they would honor the dead in their own fashion. And when next we meet, our fleeting alliance will surely be forgotten. It was an interesting exchange nonetheless. They spoke of their present ruler as a man who values self-sufficiency. Varus befriended Regula in their youth, it seems, and was highly impressed with his martial prowess. This common knowledge that Regula's rise to legatus was in great part advocated by the Emperor himself. Regula freely admitted his shortcomings when it came to politics, and was Varus' unconditional support that served to win his undying fealty. One does not expect such tales of comradeship to lurk beneath the Empire's iron exterior. Contrary to all expectations, the man died a hero. Witnessing the way you all leapt into danger without hesitation, it would seem I am surrounded by heroes. And yet, my own actions were odd but heroic. I have not the qualities nor the character to stand at a warrior of light's side. What a curious thing to say. Are you truly concerned that you do not measure up to some arbitrary requirement? If you knew the path I walked to reach this place, then you would understand why I doubt myself so. Return with me to the Rising Stones, and I shall tell you of it. With our victory over Zurvan, the warring Triad is finally defeated. I'm afraid, however, that mine own efforts have often been more hindrance than help. And you and your fellow Science deserve to hear the reasons behind my actions. I promise to tell you of my journey, of who I am, of where I am from. The truth is, I'm not of this world. I was born on a different star. A child whose power of the echoes was too feeble to save his dying world. A child who, unlike you, never became a warrior of light. When all I knew stood in the brink of destruction, I was yet half grown. Had I been born with but a handful of years earlier, history may have written a different tale. The seeds of our heroes that had yet to fully sprout may not have withered and perished. The star I failed to save is known to you now as the Void. Though Serenia knew not that I spoke of my homeland, I have explained to her before the cause of its ruin. A magic was devised to contain a defeated primal's might within a stone known as Auracite, and the energies which bled from this imperfect vessel gradually corrupted the champions who wielded it. These heroes became slaves to an insatiable hunger for ether, eventually transforming into hideous fiends. And none who clung to the faint traces of light were strong enough to oppose them. The demons next turned upon each other in a war which drained the land's ether in ever greater amount, until one day the star was suddenly swallowed by a flood of darkness, an entire world unmade in an instant. The voids that you encounter here in this realm are the twisted remnants of once mortal beings who gnaw on what modes of life force remain. And as I lay dying, beaten and broken in my failed last stand, it was my present master who found my tormented spirit and bore me away to the rift betwixt worlds. It was he who first introduced me to Urianger. This is a ludibus of Yassians. I had suspected it, but still unpleasant to have it verified. At my mentor's feet did I learn of the nature of reality, of the existence of mirrored worlds, and the eternal struggle between dark and light. Sudden and overwhelming superiority for either side will shatter the balance, and the world in question will be returned to the void by a calamity beyond imagining. As the self-appointed custodian of this balance, my master warned me that the source, the first of all worlds, slips perilously close to oblivion. In what spirit did his master proffer such a warning? A benevolent gesture, or a veiled threat? To these questions and more do I mean to coax forth answers, yet no matter his intention, that Highlanders tether on a knife's edge is an undeniable truth. Know this, what choice was given you to make? I chose to join my master and act as his instrument on this star. The tragedy that befell my home cannot be repeated. I will see this world saved. And yet I hesitated at the most crucial of moments. What right have I to stand alongside a true warrior of light? In thine own words thou wert called before thy time, and I offer that thou dwellest overmuch on the question of what maketh a hero. The search for the answer leaveth thee paralyzed by doubt. Heed me, Master Unukalai. Thou needest not believe thyself a hero to perform great deeds. 'Tis the deed itself which earneth thee the hero's mantle. Aye, the ideas you can hold can be less important than having the faith to act upon them. Regula's loyalty to the Emperor guided his action until the last, and though we did not see eye to eye on many things, his final deeds can be called naught less than heroic. Personally, I find that faith in my companions allows me to act unhindered by uncertainty. I know that should I ever falter, Serenia and the others will be there to support me, or steer me back onto the right path if needed. I see. In the days leading up to my world's destruction, I was entirely alone. I never knew what it was to have such comrades. I cannot imagine the loneliness you must have felt, but look around you now, Unukalai. You're not alone anymore. Welcome to the science of the seventh dawn. I will fulfill my promise to save this world, and when I stumble, I shall be glad to have your hands there to steady me. My apologies, this is difficult for me. For so long have I spoken from behind a mask. We should all feel comfortable speaking without such concealment. I hope you appreciate the irony of that statement, Oriange. Anyway, until next time, yeah, when we do something else. I'm Mace, and don't get lost.